All right, welcome to the next edition of Feel Good Friday. This is, again, Eric Person with Home Builders and Remodelers Association and Sheila Leach, Vice President of Operations with the HBRA. And today we're joined by one of our members and a very special guest. Peter from Kloter Farms is joining us here, as well as Jordan from J Restaurant in downtown Hartford. And we saw a story in the Hartford Current last week about a partnership that they put together, and wanted to have them tell the membership a little about some of the creative things they're doing to help the restaurants get open, and as well as help the healthcare workers. So, Peter, why don't you start and tell us about how you guys started this project?
Sure. So, we've been keeping track of when we can open and when things can start to kind of go the other way. And we're looking at that May date that's been out there from the governor for quite a while. And in the first week of May, Jordan had reached out to us, to the sales floor, to see if we would maybe consider renting out some gazebos or putting some gazebos in the parking lot at J Restaurant, as restaurants were going to be allowed to reopen, but only for outside dining, so to increases outside dining. And so the phone call got to my desk. It's not something that obviously we would usually do, and we don't do a lot of rentals or things like that. But I was intrigued enough by the concept that I reached back out to Jordan the next day. We had a great phone conversation. He told me a little bit about what he was doing, what he was thinking, and we've been to his restaurant several times, my wife and I. And I thought, this sounds interesting enough. I'm going to take a ride in. So the next day, my wife and I took a ride and met with Jordan, saw the area that he had in mind, but really appreciated his vision, because at that point it was a parking lot there at his restaurant. And he just had some incredible vision of how to turn it into a great outdoor patio area. The more we talked and the more I realized also what he was doing in the community, which I had heard a little bit about, but he shared, and then I followed up with a few people, as he was helping out next door with Connecticut Children's and Hartford Hospital and the healthcare workers. And obviously that's been a big theme lately, kind of those frontline workers. We've done some things here, but there's only so much we can do as a retail establishment. And I just thought it was a really neat concept. So talked to our supplier. We were able to construct 4 12-foot gazebos in about a week and a half. Jordan was able to completely redo his area. He'll tell you a little bit about what he did there, but when I got pictures from him, I was amazed. And I asked Jordan if he would consider, if we put him in there and loan the gazebos to the restaurant, if he would just donate, if he would donate meals and food, as he's been doing, to Connecticut Children's and the Cancer Center and Hartford Hospital. And of course, he was very open to that and thought that was a great idea. So we, in about a week and a half, brought the gazebos in, and I believe on the 19th or 20th, when he was allowed to open, he opened up his patio area. And we were just glad to take part. Obviously, we can't do that everywhere, but it was just a neat partnership that we thought we wanted to be part of.
That's
Jordan,
fantastic.
That's great. Jordan, can you share with us about the location and the space? Because it sounds like you were very creative with your vision.
Yeah, well, we've been here on Washington Street for 50 years. Kind of a funny way to celebrate our 50th anniversary with the COVID. But when we got closed down and our dining rooms were shut down, we were allowed to do takeout only. We kind of shifted our gears to feeding the healthcare workers at Hartford Hospital and the Children's Hospital. So every day we basically converted our dining room into a workshop where we provided 200 to 300 meals, some days as much as 600, 700 meals. And then on Nurses Week, we did 1,500 in one day. When the governor announced that we can open up outdoor dining, our patio currently had it used to have 10 tables, and we figured, all right, so 50% capacity will be 5 tables. It's not really going to work well. So we're like, all right, how can we expand on this and come up with this idea of, enhancing a dining room outside? Chris came up with this idea, who's does all my event planning, and we sat there talking about how do we create a cool atmosphere. There's places that create oases out of nothing. Down in New Haven, right on the harbor, you think you're down in the tropics, the way you got the palm trees. So we got to do something really cool here. We started looking at gazebos online and order this, takes 6 to 8 weeks to get them in, and they're like little pop-up tents. I'm like, this isn't going to work. So next day I said, well, let me give Kloter Farms a call and run it by him. And worst thing they could say is no. And the woman I spoke to who answered was very intrigued herself. She goes, you need to leave Peter a message. I said, really? She goes, no, you need to leave him a message. So that's what I did. It's on a Saturday morning. I got a phone call on Monday morning, and as Peter said, we hit it off well. We decided if we could put gazebos out here and create private dining spaces, this is now going to make people feel safe, because people are still very reluctant to coming out and dining. So the gazebos give us the privacy for 5 people to be in a gazebo. And then we decided we were going to repave the parking lot. We got pallets, and we created a pallet fence and bench seating areas, and we put fire pits out here. And it just has taken on a mind of its own, to the point that the city of Hartford had 3 health inspectors come out, inspect us before we opened, and said, this is the model that the city needs to follow. They had a training session here on Tuesday, brought 3 more inspectors down and said, look at their floor plan, look at their traffic patterns, what they've done. This is what the restaurants need to do to be able to provide outdoor dining. So it's flattering to us that we put a lot of thought into this, and it really came together nicely.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. And as Sheila said, and as Peter said too, the creativity is amazing that you guys had, and that's fantastic. Trying to keep businesses open and thriving as we try to reopen the economy here. So that's amazing. So as I said earlier before we started recording, we've been to your restaurant a number of times, and you always do see the doctors and healthcare workers and nurses over there, and it's great that you're able to provide that service and those meals to the healthcare workers. That's phenomenal, and
they have been our busiest customers right now. The last couple of days that have been nice. You see them coming out as soon as they get out of work at 3:30 or 7 o'clock, and all the gazebos have been filled up with 4 or 5 healthcare workers from the hospital that finally get a chance to get out and unwind a little bit. So it's amazing.
Well, you chose a very good product. Kloter Farms gazebos are simply the best. And,
they are phenomenal. Everybody wants to buy them at the end of the season.
Great advertising, Peter.
That's right.
Yeah, obviously the advertising and the word of mouth. So the Current was there, and several of the TV stations. So we kind of thought that would happen, but I guess I didn't expect it to that magnitude. For us, when my wife and I were there, the key point was just that we could help out next door at the hospital and do that. And of course, everything else is an added bonus. That's been good for us. We've been very, very busy. People are certainly doing a lot of work in their backyards. And I think Jordan and I will come up with something pretty creative when it's maybe time for those gazebos not to be there. We'll come up with something neat or creative, and we'll fill you in on maybe what we're going to do there. We might just do a charity event or something to try to get some more generation of help.
That would be awesome. We would love to be involved with you guys with that and hear about that.
Yes, let us know. We'll definitely get that out to the membership and to our followers and attendance and group as well. So that's fantastic. So, well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of the Feel Good Friday. It's fantastic to see what you're doing there, Jordan. And again, if anybody hasn't been to J Restaurant, make sure you stop by. It's right on Washington Street, right. You can see the hospital right there, the Connecticut Children's Hospital, and fantastic work that you guys are doing. And to Kloter Farms, Peter, you and all the folks at Kloter Farms, again, congratulations and kudos to you guys for stepping up and doing something really creative, and it's had some really good benefits too. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And look forward to seeing everybody next Friday for our next edition of Feel Good Friday, and have a good weekend and stay safe.